What's up, YouTube? I'm sorry I haven't really been uploading recently. I've been dealing with some personal stuff. But I for sure wasn't going to miss the latest chapter of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. So we're going to dive into chapter 4 right now. So we pick up from where chapter 3 left off with Code stumbling upon the Ten Tails. Code looks down at the Ten Tails and recalls Boruto's words to him earlier. How the Ten Tails has evolved into something completely new now that Code has merged his claw marks with them. Boruto is telling Code that he needs to scrap them while he still holds their reins, or else it'll be the worst possible future for everybody. But Code, still being nonchalant about the situation, just says how could they be such a threat when their only ability is to devour. This is when the Toad tells Boruto to hurry, that they don't have any more time left. And Boruto tells the Toad to be quiet and that he's not as adept at this as his grandpa is. So before Kawaki can actually react, Boruto uses the Flying Rising Jutsu to teleport to the Ten Tails dimension where Code is. I am very happy that Boruto has learned the Flying Rising Jutsu. I always thought he was going to learn it, but I never thought it would actually be this soon. Even though Boruto says he's not as good as it as Minato, we still gotta give Boruto props for learning the jutsu, because it said the Flying Rising Jutsu has an immense learning curve. And plus, he didn't even whip it out against Code. So yeah, Code, hold this L. But back to the chapter, Code is shocked at Boruto for appearing out of nowhere so suddenly. Boruto then walks over to Code and looks into the pit and asks him where his Ten Tails. The Toad looks shocked as well as he jumps off of Code's shoulder and looks into the pit and just says it was just down there a minute ago. And said it's highly unlikely that Code moved the beast because he made no movements. Not that he has the ability to do so since he got hit with Boruto's Uzuhiko. We then see a new creature that appears. A humanoid that has been combined with the claw marks. Boruto then looks at him and says it's too late. Code looks at the mysterious creature and says, "Bug?" We then get a cut to the tree that Bug is turned into, and we see that Bug looks exactly like the humanoid that's combined with the claw marks. Boruto asks Code, is Bug referring to the guy who's stuck to the tree, and Boruto confirms that the creature in front of them is a divine tree. And Code is looking shocked, talking about, what are you talking about? The humanoid divine tree then attacks Boruto. And boy, does he pack a punch. He pushed Boruto up against a wall. He then asks Boruto, have you come to be devoured? What's interesting is that he refers to Boruto as Boruto Otsutsuki. Boruto then uses lightning style to make some distance between the two. And the humanoid morphs his hand into an eating weapon and tries to eat Boruto, but Boruto uses Flying Rising to move. To where the divine tree remarks and says that that's a tricky little jutsu. Code then starts demanding answers from Boruto, asking him to tell him what's up with everything that's going on, and then collapses to the ground. Boruto then releases the Uzuhiko from Code. Boruto tells Code to back him up and that there's no time to explain right now and to help him. Boruto then tells Code that everyone who got bitten by the claw grimes have been turned into humanoid divine tree. We then see another divine tree humanoid appear in the sky and tells Boruto and Code that it's chakra. All life on the planet, both current as well as past and long dead. The humanoid explains to Boruto and Code that we divine trees exist to suck the chakra out of all living things and form a chakra fruit. At least that was their original driving instinct. But since Code combined them with his claw marks, they appear to have evolved a bit, thanks to them awakening self-awareness in all of the clones that he merged with the claw marks. So Code messed up pretty bad. Basically, by combining his claw marks with the Ten Tails, he's given the Ten Tails an ego, and now they are all self-aware. And there's more humanoids as well. We then see another Ten Tails divine tree humanoid that looks to be either Moegi or Delta. She tells Code that it's Code's destiny to always be used by somebody else, and that it's almost laughable. And this scene in particular, Code gets his own karma. No pun intended. But you remember in part 1, after Kawaki killed Boruto, Code tried to escape and told Kawaki the exact same thing that she just told Code. That it's Kawaki's destiny to always be used by somebody else. Look how the wheels have turned for Code as of now. And while I said the new Ten Tails Divine Tree humanoid looks kinda like Moegi or Delta, the one who was floating in the sky strongly resembles Jigen or Ishiki. I've seen a lot of people say that this is the ninja who saved Sarada from getting bitten by a claw grime, but I'm actually not sure just going off of the design. I can just say the part of the claw mark that's on his head kinda resembles Ishiki's horn from a certain point of view. He also said it's been all life that has lived on the planet, so it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to be resembling Jigen or Ishiki. Back to the chapter, the Toad tells Boruto that this is a bad situation and that it's time to retreat to regain their footing. We then see the final Divine Tree humanoid appear. His face is concealed by his claw mark hood, but Boruto takes special notice in him. We cut back to the Hokage office where we see Shikamaru talking to Kawaki and Sarada. Shikamaru is asking Kawaki that Boruto suddenly vanished somewhere. Does this mean that he's mastered space-time ninjutsu? Kawaki replies that he has no idea how he did it, but Boruto vanished after Code fled, as if he were chasing him. Now, if you were paying attention, when Boruto transported away, he distinctively said flying rising jutsu and teleported away. So I think Kawaki knows this, but he's withholding this information from Shikamaru. My guess is because he doesn't want to give Boruto any type of advantages. I think Shikamaru would piece together that Boruto learning the flying rising could give Shikamaru the possibility that Boruto isn't the bad guy, but I believe Kawaki is trying to portray Boruto as a villain because Boruto is Otsutsuki, and Kawaki's goal is to eliminate all the Otsutsuki. Kawaki then tells Shikamaru that there's also a chance Boruto and Code are linked, and before he disappeared, Boruto was talking to somebody, and Kawaki says it better not be someone in the sensory unit, to where Shikamaru replies that all content in the sensory unit is mind transmitted and being monitored, so if anybody was linked, he wouldn't have known right away that they were a spy for Boruto. And Sarada comes in and just says how all of this arguing is ridiculous and that it's a lot simpler than that. That Code attacked Konoha and Boruto drove him away, and that it was obvious from the convo they had, and even told Shikamaru to ask Ada to confirm it. Then Kawaki starts reiterating what I just said, that Sarada just doesn't get it, and that Boruto is an Otsutsuki, and no matter what his motives are, that he's an enemy that just needs to be killed for being Otsutsuki. Where Sarada replies that that's real rich coming from you, another Otsutsuki. We can see that Kawaki's words are hypocritical, and then he replies to Sarada that he's an Otsutsuki killing Otsutsuki, and that his powers only exist to kill the other Otsutsuki, and that he's tired of repeating himself, and that once all the Otsutsuki are gone, that he'll be happy to off himself. But until that day, he's gonna do whatever it takes to kill all of the Otsutsuki. Sarada then tells Kawaki that she won't repeat herself either, and that she won't let him have his way in Konoha, because she's trying to become the Hokage. Shikamaru then cuts in and tells them both to stop arguing unless they want to piss off the current Hokage. Shikamaru then starts talking about the claw grimes, asking why are they turning into trees and are they trying to create a forest. Sarada tells Shikamaru that the tree victims are still alive and that there might be a way to save them, and that based on what Boruto and Code were talking about, that Boruto knew something about it. Then Shikamaru put 1 and 2 together and realizes that that's why he's tracking Code. Sarada then says that regardless of Boruto's true motives, that there's no doubt that he and Code have a hostile relationship, and so since Code is a threat to Konoha, that they should consider collaborating with Boruto to take Code down for the time being. We then cut back to the Ten Tails dimension where we see all 4 of the Divine Tree humanoids staring Boruto and Code down. Code asks them all in disbelief that they are self-aware Divine Trees. Boruto then gets ready to draw his sword against the hooded claw-marked humanoid, to where the Toad asks him in disbelief, what is he doing? Our surprise attack failed, you need to retreat now. The hooded claw-marked Divine Tree looks over at Boruto and then instantly attacks. We get a close-up of this Divine Tree and it appears to be Sasuke. He then attacks Boruto and Code with his lightning style, to where Boruto retaliates with his Uzuhiko and they clash. The Bug Divine Tree and the Delta/Emogi Divine Tree then appear to join the battle. I say this divine tree has a higher chance of being Moegi than Delta, given that her ability to trap Boruto looks a lot like Moegi's ability when she trapped Amato when he defected to the Leaf Village. Boruto tells Code to help him out and to lend him a hand, and Code replies that it seems like they'll devour you on their own to become a full divine tree without me doing anything. And then Code dips. This actually had me laughing a little bit. I can't believe Boruto actually trusted Code. The Toad then reiterates to Boruto that they need to retreat now, and that if he dies now, it'll all be for naught. Boruto then makes a hand sign and then retreats with the flying Raijin Jutsu. We then cut up to the divine tree that was floating in the sky. He says that you were lucky, Boruto Otsutsuki. Our self-awareness, having just awakened, overflowing with curiosity and thirst for knowledge, are still surpassing our instinctual drive to devour you. He says Boruto can run all he likes, but no matter where he goes, that he can never escape his destiny of being eaten by the divine tree and procuring a chakra fruit. We see that Boruto teleported behind a tree, just looking down. Someone then approaches him and asks him, "Are you trying to destroy this planet? Don't ever be that rash again." To where Boruto replied that he panicked and that he's sorry. We then see it was Kashin Koji who was talking to Boruto, who tells him he's not trying to console you, but you knew that there was a high chance of this happening, and that it really doesn't change anything in the grand scheme of things, and that they're still gonna fight. Boruto then looks up at the sky and says, "Sorry, you'll just have to wait a bit longer, Sasuke." And we see the ending scene of Sasuke, who has been bitten by a clawed grime, has turned into a tree. Now for my thoughts on the chapter. After what's been going on years in the manga, we finally have Kashin Koji make his way back into the story. The Kashin Koji Boruto relationship was definitely foreshadowed in the Minato one-shot manga. We saw Minato and Jiraiya having a student-teacher bonding moment, so I'm certain we'll have more moments like that between Boruto and Kashin Koji. Also, my favorite part of the chapter, I'm really glad that Boruto got the flying Raijin Jutsu. If I had to guess, I'm betting Kashin Koji taught him the flying Raijin Jutsu. Not that Koji knows it himself, but if you watch the Boruto anime, if you remember the arc Kashin Koji infiltrated the Leaf Village to get secret data pertaining to the Fourth Great Ninja War, I believe the Flying Raijin was in the data that Koji got a hold of. The Flying Raijin Jutsu actually played a big part in the Fourth Great Shinobi World War. Naruto synced with Minato's chakra, and then Minato transported everybody to evade the Ten Tails attack in the war. And since Naruto had shared the Nine-Tailed Fox's chakra with everybody, everyone was teleported in the same instance to evade the attack. But we definitely need flashbacks of Boruto learning the jutsu, because even in the Minato one-shot, we didn't know as readers how Minato learned the flying Raijin, even though the one-shot was about the Rasengan. We haven't seen Minato's, Boruto's, or even Tobirama's training of developing the jutsu and learning its mechanics. Tobirama made the flying Raijin, but even we didn't see what went into developing it. Also, pertaining to Code, I have a video I've been working on, and it's a theory behind all of Code's actions up until the point he was introduced into the story up until now. So I'll probably be dropping that video next. I'm also happy we finally got new villains in the story, because Code wasn't cutting it at this point. Now that we have sentient divine trees that have been augmented with Code's claw marks and have awakened ego, I definitely believe this is the worst possible future Boruto was speaking of. Code has essentially created artificial intelligence. And I also have another video in the work about beings very similar to the divine tree that we read in chapter 4 of Two Blue Vortex. So definitely be on the lookout for that video as well. And lastly, I want to talk about Sasuke and his role in the story going forward. So it might be a far reach, but I think us as readers seeing the divine tree, Sasuke's Jubi counterpart in particular, I believe that since we saw it has a Rinnegan in its right eye, that is foreshadowing Sasuke's next power-up in the future. Sasuke already achieved Rinnegan in his left eye due to the Sage of the Six Paths chakra, and the left side of Sasuke's face and body was consumed by the tree after he was bitten. So I believe whenever Sasuke is released, that side of his body will be healed, and he'll gain the Jubi side as well. But that's only speculation at this point. All in all, I'm just glad we finally got some new villains. But Code will still have his moment down the line. I know he got his karma earlier by what the Ten-Tailed Divine Tree said to him, but he'll come back, I know it, because Kishimoto would have killed him off by now. But how did you guys like Chapter 4 of Two Blue Vortex? Let me know in the comments below. It's Ghost, and I'll see you next time. Later.
俺は忍びだ。